Everybody, Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. We're here on another episode of the New York Cannabis Podcast. Today brought to you guys by Trees. Man, big shout out to our sponsor, Trees. We've got a very special guest today. We've got Tim from Boro Cannabis. We're going to talk more New York cannabis. You guys might have seen, man, the last few episodes, it's been all about New York. It's been all about it, man. The state, the different boroughs, the city, the culture, the music. Tim, welcome, my man. How you living today? Good afternoon out there, coming from the East Coast. How's everything going?
Oh, it's great out here. I mean, we've been working all day as everybody else in this industry. You never stop. The
Right.
grind never stops. So, currently just dealing with the whole team, managing the whole marketing and setting up events.
It never stops in cannabis, right? You guys, I was looking through. I remember looking at menus across New York, and I was writing down a list of like, okay, cool. What like let's this brand and this brand. Okay, this one looks cool. Oh, these guys are flower. Like I smoke, right? So it's like I'm trying to
Yeah.
see like what I can pay attention to. I'm looking for people to interview. I want to tell some stories, and
Okay.
I came across you on the gram. I discovered you guys after looking across some menus up in the upstate area of New York. You guys are a dope brand. You guys buy flower from a legacy farm, right? Some legacy
Right.
guys turn legal, and you guys curate a cool product offering. Tim, let the people know a little bit about what kind of products you guys sell. What are you guys making over there at Five Borough?
We doing a lot of pre-rolls. We have 5-pack pre-rolls, single pre-rolls. We're also doing dime bags now. We're doing eights, and we have some half gram entry level carts.
Nice. Half gram entry level carts, dude. I love so you got a good flower variety, and then you got the pre roll variety, and then you've got the carts coming in the way. Are you plan on expanding that cartridge line?
Yeah, we want to like taste the market, to see how how everybody's dealing with the price points and all that. And we really want to be a brand that like supports all levels, especially people who are trying to discover the quality of the products that are coming out. And we're always looking to have like up to snuff product that's like for the current market and better. And being the market is so bland right now, as we say, you're just going with the most consistent product rather than like trying to reach for the stars, because there's not enough canopy for that. And until the government allows us to, we're gonna have to, be patient.
Yeah, you guys, I hear this pretty often when it comes from New Yorkers talking about the New York market. A lot of the dispensaries are carrying the same brands and the same a similar variety of products. That's because there's not enough canopy in farms growing of different varieties of weed. Correct? There just needs to
Yeah.
be more farms, indoor, outdoor, whatever it is. There's just not enough.
There's absolutely not enough. I mean, like, you have a lot of licenses that aren't even being used, and there's been a bunch of licenses that are finally been used for 2 years, 3 years, that they actually allowed them to double the canopy, which was
Mm.
last year when they did that. And then so now, you're fleshing out the details to make sure that the quality of the grow is there. But at the same time, BioTrack isn't up and running, and there's a lot of like things happening in the market. So until that balances out, like, it's gonna be, looking for consistency more than looking for quality. And when you get to the opportunity where there's enough indoor quality that's growing well, I think that's when the branding will be more important. Right now,
Yeah.
I think quality and consistency is probably more important than the branding.
Yeah, people want the best. Hold on. People want the highest THC for the most affordable price, and they want
And
it to look good, smell good, and smell good. It's such an unrealistic balance based on what's available there in New York, right? And so let's paint the picture, Tim. What is currently available there? You've got outdoor grows that do full term sun, right? They're just growing outside, upstate
correct,
somewhere, most likely, right? And then you
correct,
guys have there's like greenhouse. There's some people running greenhouses, right? And then
correct,
there's also some people running mixed light greenhouses where they've got supplemental lights
correct,
inside of the
correct,
greenhouse.
correct.
Is there anything else? There are some indoor people
There's,
though, correct?
there's some micros. A couple of our friends have micros. Friends from Growers Cup, Will from back home. They all have micros now. They switched it over from the original hemp license, right? So
Mhm.
some of them do, and some of them acquired their micro, but nobody's growing the full 200 light, 3,500. Like most people here. I mean, in my opinion, from my experience with all my friends, like 30 to 50 lights is the max I've heard. you
Wow.
know, and that doesn't really help support the New York State, dispensaries because every day there's a new dispensary, and every day you're not supplementally supplying these dispensaries with the product that they quote want and the customer want.
Yeah.
So we're stuck in this like perpetual, okay, we're dealing with what we can, right? And then the guys that are working together to achieve a goal, then they get the flower to sell, right? The rest of us, we have to wait.
Mm.
But there has been some chitter chatter on the side that I've been hearing that there's a lot of canopy space with the ROs, and they're willing to work with us to supplement their space for us to utilize for our crop. And that I think is an interesting conversation.
Yeah. What makes you attracted to or potentially attracted to that kind of situation?
Well, purely because the speed of the industry is growing so slow in terms of the canopy allowing you to do anything indoor, right? They only have like 40 something micro licenses,
Wow.
and most of them are trying to go vertical. The ones that aren't trying to go vertical will do a wholesale, right? But if you did the math on the full consumption of the whole market, whether it's legal or legacy, like you would know how many pounds we need for our state, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's right now everyone's being force fed boxed wine, but they really want
Correct.
the high end stuff, just but affordable, right? And
Well,
and
that's the funny
I
thing.
don't say that in relation to like the sun grown and the stuff, but like not everybody wants that, and the people that don't want that, they're not going to buy that.
I like to say that, but there's some people that I guess some of the customers that are new to smoking and having the access to cannabis on a regular basis, they might not know as well as the rest of us because we've been smoking for a long time. A lot of people in New York picked up cannabis as a habit during COVID.
Mm.
And during COVID was probably one of the most lucrative time in the legacy market. So now you have a lot of new consumers, and in a way, they're new to this, so they're experiencing all these products, and some of them don't know better, and they don't mind what they have right now. And I think what's going to happen is when we actually have a more affluent economy, I guess is the best way to say it, for higher end quality, you have the rest of us coming in. So I think the best way to say is the market hasn't been fulfilled yet in terms
Yeah.
of what the customer base in totality will look like for all the dispensaries. That's the best way. Because like I would like to think that there's probably 5 times the amount of people that can go into these dispensaries when it's all said and done. Because if you're not shopping from your guy and you're looking for a variety of product that, well, my guy has only a few strains, but I can buy it for cheaper, right? But if I go into store, I can get like 300 strains, all top notch now. It gives you a more diverse group of people to come in.
I want
And
to be able to buy both. I just want to be able to buy both. They're both going to exist either way,
oh,
right? But
that's
I
not
want to
going
be able
anywhere.
to buy both.
Like let's just be realistic. Like I always give this example, right? If you've been to Chinatown in any state, right? Tell me you haven't seen a fake Louis Vuitton bag for sale or something like that going on. Have you stopped that? Have you stopped the Nikes that are coming in that are identical copies? Like you're not. If you haven't stopped that, you're not gonna stop a plane. Come on.
It's tough, man. It's a tough position to be in, and that's where as a consumer, I really enjoy the ability to buy fruit and vegetables from farmers markets, and I enjoy being able to buy it from
Fact,
grocery stores, and I enjoy being
fact.
able to buy it in commercial products, and also too in alkalized, we'll call it alcohol infused products as well. So it's
Mm,
just like I'd like it to be treated similarly to that because that's already been approved, and weed is not as bad as cannabis is not as bad as alcohol, right? Not nearly,
of course.
but it's just not where it's at, right? And so it'd be interesting to see how that kind of progresses forward. Now, talk to me, Tim. You're the owner, you're the founder. Well, what's your official title there with Five Borough?
I'm the owner, founder, managing partner.
Let's go. So this is an Asian-owned company. Are there are there inspirations from the Asian cultures that you come from within the brand, or is that something that maybe is separate? Or talk to me a little bit about that.
I wouldn't even. I don't try to like merge the two. I mean, yeah, I'm Asian, but like I come from such a hip hop, fashion, music culture. I came from the fashion industry. I've been doing manufacturing for the better part of the last 20 years.
Yep.
My family, eventually got into fashion and started doing manufacturing because of me. And it's been such a growth line of just maturity. And I don't know.
Cool.
I don't really compare the two together. I designed and did a lot of heart to heart thinking before I actually designed this brand and put it out. And to me, it signifies all my history and what I've been through in fashion, music, entertainment, and it really like showcases like my heart because like my generation, I'm 46.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through basically the heart of this, stop and frisk, backpack, like searching, all that. And after 9/11 was even more ridiculous. So like, we were the ones that were hiding in offices, studios, stairwells, rooftops, and smoking. And, a bunch of my friends have gotten arrested from just, smoking on the street, and let
Wow.
alone trapping. And so to me, that's what Fibro really represents is like all those experiences that I had across the board that made me realize how lucky I am to be here to do this. And I want to represent, I guess, that generation or, New York in that light, I guess, for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
the world or for the nation. I hope. But like, my goal is to share that story with everyone to understand that
Yeah.
we didn't come from simplicity. We came from corners. We came from selling
Sacrifices.
packs. I mean, look, I still talk about it today, man. Like, I would be in the elevator in any of these high rises and dropping off a couple ounces, and people would just smell it and stare at me. And being through so much of the industry, it's like almost having a history of what like the New York timeline was and what the New York timeline from exotics even to now, right? Like understanding why people did what they did at the time for, the business and, what pack signified what kind of like profit margins you were making at the time. And I just find it so different now, I guess, because like I look at the industry and I see people buying packs and then shove it into little bags and selling it as like, consumer packaged good. And I'm more of a sandwich bag kind of guy back in the day, and I'm used to the Nextels, the StarTechs, the the dialing up the phone with the chinger, and like those are the days for me. And a lot has changed from when I did the business that way till now. I mean, and even the trappers have changed so much, the way they think and the way they operate, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we call it the Snapchat trappers, right? And the IG trappers, right?
yeah.
It's crazy how that generation became such a thing. Right? Building a brand online became building a dispensary front online. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird to me, I guess, because I had a delivery service, so it was more still cell phone based and all that without trying to get too noticed. And these days, people are putting their whole delivery service online and capturing like people's data and then regurgitating it back. And it's a whole technological thing, I think. But what I like to see more of, I guess, from the trappers, no disrespect to how they do in business, is our generation, we gave back to the streets though. Like, when you made a huge deal and you have 30 stacks in your pocket, like, some of the guys on the street, you throw them a 20 here and there to get food. You go to Mr.
Mhm.
Softy and throw them $200 to make sure the line gets taken care of with the kids playing basketball and all that. I mean, I think we lost a lot of that, and I like to see more of that actually.
The core message from that is just giving back to the community, right? I think across the board,
Yeah, like
we
that's
start thinking
valuable,
about local.
man.
start thinking about other people more, that'd be huge.
I mean, like this is kind of like what our energy is about, right? Like cannabis is something that's lucrative, and there was fast money during my time, right? So giving back was just to us nature almost, like you can't take from the community without giving back, right?
Hmm.
And if you have the opportunity to give back, then do it in a wholesome, positive way, you know? And these days, like that's kind of what I'm getting into more is like I'm starting my nonprofit to achieve the goal of giving back to children, you know? And I think education is one of the top things, and I want to attack that. I think tackling, homelessness and, starvation, like these are the things that matter. And to me, like, on addition to that, like, a lot of these kids don't even have clothes that they can say brand new ever, you know?
Hmm.
So, and I have a partner who's doing nonprofit with me who was a primary one school teacher. So, I learned a lot from him about what it's like for kids who are orphans and kids who, have been injured or handicapped and what their lives are like. And, you know, at the very least, donations should be about products that are brand new rather than old clothes and old shoes.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
coming from a manufacturing background in fashion, like I look at that as something I can tackle for sure, is generate enough money to donate back that we can do a reciprocal buy one, give one opportunity that, gives children, brand new clothes and maybe homeless people brand new clothes, but at the same time they don't feel like they're lesser than anybody because they wear those clothes because someone bought a piece that looks exactly like yours. Maybe someone on the Upper East Side that had the money to buy 10 pieces and gave away 10 pieces, but everybody can look the same. That was the
Yeah,
concept of that. And my mindset was really to achieve that type of energy and give back to the community. And I'm trying so hard to get there, but this industry is really slow on the legal side, and hopefully we can tackle that within the next year and a half, 2 years, with some serious donations from across the board, not just myself.
absolutely. There's
Mm,
a lot of different ways to build community and to have impact. I definitely admire your passion for those issues. They're very real. They're in our face out there every day. There's all kinds of people that are, all kinds of children with plenty of different realities that, in terms of how they became an orphan. Um, create some of the craziest stories out there, period. To be able to help them is huge. To be able to help people at risk or currently suffering and experiencing from homelessness, that's a huge thing to have impact on. Food, there's definitely the rising food costs. We're going to see this issue exacerbated here over the
yep.
next few months with the U.S. just doing whatever is happening, in the grand politics things, which is all outside of our control. Whatever's happening is happening,
We're
and
just citizens.
it's just there's a lot of people that are going to end up needing help, right? And I think that's very that's something to be admired, and hopefully that inspires other people to have impact as well. Now, circling back to five bros, your products, you as a brand. You mentioned pre-roll packs, you mentioned some flour, mentioned these vapes. How do you go about curating the strains and or the flavors that you offer within these products?
No, that's relatively easy, right? For me, anyways, because I come from a history of a catalog of cannabis. I really look at consistency, right? It comes along the line of one, strains that I love, and from the history of it, that's one.
Hmm.
Two, really, you have to think about it like this. Like most of the people who are consuming cannabis at the store level right now, they're used to the older strains. Like if I came in with all the candy strains right now, like the customer base wouldn't even be going into the store to buy that. So I choose based on, I guess, the timeline and history of the people that's shopping, and also
Hmm.
some of my old school favorites. So, and I like to have a variety of like different tastes. So I'll give you a little, creme de la creme, right? Because I want it to be creamy but chemi, right? And then
Yep.
I personally love haze. So I'm gonna give you an amnesia haze because I love the smell. I just love the smell of an amnesia haze, right? And then, I'll throw in a little bit of fruitiness, and I'm like, which fruit do I want? I'm like, forbidden fruit is a great flavor for me. I
Love
really
that
enjoy
orange.
that,
Love that
right?
sweet floral orange.
Right. So, like, I like to think of it that way, where I choose the varieties I like, but within the generations of people that are willing to shop for that right now.
No, what would you say? You know, first off, how long have you been out there in New York? What area are you in specifically,
I was raised
or
in
would you say
Jackson
you're from?
Heights, and I started off in Jackson Heights, and then my parents didn't particularly like me hanging out on the stoop, and they were hustlers on the stoop. So my parents got freaked out when I was like 5 years old, and they're like, "Look, we can't do this." So a year later, at six and a half, my parents moved from Jackson Heights to College Point, and then they stayed at College Point for another year, and then my parents just had it with Queens, so they moved to Jersey. Lived a pretty provincial life, but it was pretty cool because I learned a different like lifestyle. And
Hmm.
what was cool about this is like I still end up trapping, but but I also went through a lot of things that my parents didn't tell me about while I was growing up, and it came to a head when I was in college. My parents didn't tell me that I was an immigrant, that I was on a visas, and that after college I needed to find a job, or I would be, you know, liable for deportation, so to speak. But I think that's more software telling me get a job, right? But really, what they
Right.
meant was I would be out of status and out of compliance. But being basically raised in America completely, I didn't even know what to do. I was actually freaking out, actually, if you know what I mean.
Wow. Yeah, I can only imagine that kind of being dropped on you after all that time. I could never think of it like that. That'd be crazy.
Looking back, I think about the young me, and I was like, I don't blame you for doing what you did, because man, that was such a hard time. I was like, the best way to say is like a fish out of water. I was trying to learn things really fast to figure out how I can get compliant, I guess, right? But along the way, you learn a lot about friendships and people and how they treat you based on the information you give them. And you realize you have some really good friends out there. They don't care what that all that means, and even though I really didn't even know what it meant. And I started selling cannabis really in college, as a way of enjoying something I liked and sharing it with the friends that I was friends with. And it
Yeah.
ended up being a career because of my immigration problems. And I ended up talking to my friends from high school and college about my problems, and they started telling me, just Tim, don't go anywhere. We'll just buy all our stuff from you. And after college, some of my friends who were buying stuff from me end up asking me how to buy more stuff from me at a better price to start their own business and enterprise, in their neighborhoods and regions. And that was the beginning of fibro, really. Like, that was the very first time I can
Yeah.
say that's when fibro really started, when I started supplying my friends and college friends like real product, like halves and quarters and pounds. And that just manifested as I grew, because I sat at home doing these businesses with waiting for my friends to come out at like 6 o'clock, being available to sell them anything, right? Because everybody's got a job. And I'm sitting there
Right.
playing Tiger Woods golf and Madden the whole time. And I'm just like, by the end of the second year, it was madness. Like, can you imagine sitting, waking up at like 11, taking a shower, having lunch, and sitting there going, "Well, what the hell am I doing with my day? Yeah, let me do some push-ups. Let me work out a little bit." By 2 o'clock, you're like, "I am bored." And you can't play
Yeah.
Tiger Woods and Madden every day for years. With it's coming from somebody that has 4 degrees. I'm sorry, I was losing my shit. And so I took a job. I took a shitty job that willing to overlook my identity stuff, because they're an Asian company, and they're from another country, so they just invested into this company so I can like run it for them, and this happens to be a factory. And so like I took a $28,000 job building somebody's freaking business, you know?
Yeah.
And that was just some humble pie, bro. Your friends are making 60, 90, like I graduated from Penn State, so like, like my friends are well to do, coming back to New York. And, you know, it really, I don't know how to say this, like it showed me my worth regardless of my talents or what I
Yeah.
thought I was good at. And I would say I have a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, no, I
But
mean, we all have our own paths, right, Tim? Like, you're, you have had a variety of surprises and a variety of things come up, as most people have throughout their life. You're well educated. You've invested a lot of time into learning things and to growing businesses, whether it's for yourself or other people. Now, this is all
yeah,
real things that are part of the story, and it's all part of helping you build this new culture, this new community there in New York, because you've been there. You were on the stoops, you were in the elevators, you were bouncing around the boroughs, whether it's walking or biking or cars or whatever it is. Uh, it's cool, and that's what helped build the culture to where we're at, is different friends and different groups like you guys, smoking
sure.
weed, selling weed, getting creative, going out, going to restaurants, going to clubs, whatever it is. Who knows? Maybe it is just working out, or maybe it's Madden tournaments. Who cares? But that's what's so cool about it, is we all have these unique stories about how we got here, and it sounds like you've had quite an incredulous journey. We talked a little bit about, the brand. How did you create the brand? At what point did you create the brand? Where did that come into play? Because you said that was like when it kind of happened was when you started flipping more weight to your friends. But when did you actually create the brand? What year did it start?
The brand started over COVID. I knew like it was already like about time for New York to get legalized, and I'm a brander. I come from branding and marketing and sales in the fashion industry. So I took all my skill set to really sit down and really create the brand of choice for myself that represented, everything that I stood for really.
Absolutely.
And
Where you
and
come from?
yeah, and that's what it took me a minute to really realize that everybody's throwing things into a little baggie these days. Because me and my team, we only do packs, so we don't really do all those like little packages and stuff like that. And only the last like 5 years have people been selling a pack with like a bunch of like little bags with it, for branding. So we're more of a mass bulk type of business from the legacy side. So this side of the business, when I learned that, I was like, wow, I get to really utilize my, skills from fashion and all those experiences with branding to really create a brand that I loved and really represented who I really was. And it was really inspiring to get that opportunity to do that now, really. I mean, I just never thought this day would come, I guess, but it's here upon us, and to have a shot at this really really is humbling and really makes me like proud to stick it out in this industry for all the times that we went through, all the things we went through. And surprisingly, actually, you told me you interviewed Hawaii Mike, and
Big shout out
I
to
met
Hawaii Mike. He was on the episode earlier today. You know what I'm saying?
that's my brother. And I met him like years ago during the fashion industry while we were smoking inside a stairwell, but we didn't even get to chop it up. We just like dabbed it up. And to find out that my mentor was once one of his best friends. And it was very touching because my mentor passed away from cancer.
Wow.
And when I saw Mike and we learned that about each other. And I invited my mentor's brother to his restaurant, Fly Private Social. I mean, it really changed my life knowing that like we have that type of connection, because my mentor meant a lot to me with everything he's taught me. Because when you're young, you're a little arrogant. You talk a lot of shit.
Yeah,
He
of
was one of
course.
those people that like put me in my place, kind of, I guess, because I was running, a fashion company and all that for some. So people gave me a lot of love and all that. But sometimes that love gets you to have a slight ego. And he checked me, man, and that he really showed me love by doing that. Because like not to be somebody that's arrogant about my ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally
And
understand, and shout out to him for having that kind of impact and that, and just being able to have that kind of level of accountability, and for you for recognizing the value of that.
yeah, I mean, like you're bringing me down memory lane, like totally. And
Well,
it's amazing because like these people shaped my life, and to know
yeah,
somebody like Hawaii, like I look at Hawaii like now, like my mentor and older brother that was like how he talks to me and how I talk to him is like that friendship is so tight because like it's just so real. We came from the same timeline. He's 5 years older than me. My mentor was like 8 years older than me. Like, it's like it really teaches you that like what you give back to the community in knowledge and love and education really matters, really transcends to the next level. And that's part of my ethos and my energies. What I want to bring people up with me that are focused, energized, want to be part of this and love the plant, love this industry, and don't disrespect the game.
yeah. I think
Truly.
it's important to have something to stand for. It's important to give back. It's important to do it right. And I think you guys, at least hearing you talk about this and what's important to you, it sounds like you're able to live, a version of your dream, with this legal cannabis business, doing something that you like to do with using your creative skills. I think about when I think about someone that says fashion, and I think about how you keep referring to these little baggies and how it's weed or whatever. I was just at this event here in California called Zolympics, and there was this brand there that was, I don't know if they were legal or a trap. I think they were a trap company, but
Mm.
they had these ounces that were in the shape of a pillow, and it was
Oh,
just a big ass bag, but it was a pillow.
that
And
sounds cool.
I was like, I looked and I was like, this one's getting me. I really like this one. This one, it's like it's really speaking to me. And I think about what someone like you with your clothing background could be and your manufacturing background, and it's like, well, these days those custom bags go crazy, man. There's all kinds of different shirt shapes and hat shapes
Facts.
things, and
Facts.
booty jean stuff. I've seen it, just about all of it. It's so funny out there.
Wait
you
till you
know
see my dime bag.
Say that.
Wait until you see my dime bag.
Are we able to, do you by chance have any of the products or any of the branding there with you so that we can show people? I did
Oh, I
find
do.
I did find some branding here on this Instagram post I can pull up.
Let me see if I can bring you some. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share the screen, at least for what I have right now, everybody. Check this out. All right, 1 second. All right, there we go. So this is an example of their packaging, everybody. You guys can see their super cool Fibro unique design there. Their pre-roll packs, the bags. Pretty sure that's packs, and we have pre-roll packs, and then I think probably the vape over there. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. I remember seeing it all throughout when when I was there in New York on my last visit. It was cool. What you got, Tim? You find something? Oh, hold up. Can you turn off your little background thing, your little screensaver thing?
Ooh, let me see if I can do that. I'm all new to this
You're okay, dude.
technology.
You're all good. You're all good. We're being patient. It's not we're just trying to give the people the best view of the product real quick. Folks, make sure you guys tap in, man. If you guys get out to New York, make sure you guys ask for 5 Boro Boro Cannabis. Ask for their flower, ask for their pre-roll packs. If you're a vapor, try their vapes. These are really good products out there in New York. It did come recommended when I was out there. They were recommending these brands to me when we were doing episodes on behalf of our sponsor Trees, so it was super dope. Something for you guys to consider and think about. Here, no worries, Tim.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working for me over here. But yeah, our five packs are killing it right now.
That's what size joints are in the 5 packs?
Point sevens. We're doing a pretty much an eighth.
Nice. Do you guys? Oh, there it is. That's perfect. Hey, look at that cool packaging. That's sick.
Yeah, we I designed this over COVID because like it really represented New York the way I wanted to, like in a way, not just like in design, but like really like the what's in it, right? It's all the major monuments and it's a graffiti design, right? So I hand drew this and then I had somebody digitally help me fix it up because like I just cannot do anything digital. I'm so old school. And then, I really presented it to a bunch of my friends and asked them what they thought. And they're like, Tim, this is some of the best work you've ever done.
That's
Like,
sick.
go for it. And, a lot of my friends from the industry on the other side, they really helped me out to get back, like, up in the game because, like, I fell off for a minute because, like, I had a family and all that. And I kind of took a break from the industry. And you know what happens when you take a break from the industry? People just swallow your accounts.
Yep.
But something major happened in my life with my son, so like I really had to fix this financial issue. So I had to call all my friends and say, "Look, I need to get back in the game." And they hooked it up, man, and they saved the brother's life. And through all that, like they support me now in what I do with Fibro because like they knew when it went legal, they knew this was my time. So they're like, "Tim, go do your thing." And you know like to today they like support me like no tomorrow, and the kind of like love you get from that, you can't even buy that. So
100%. Who?
like
Where? About how many retail partners would you say you have? I was told earlier there's about 310 stores or so open across New York right now, across the state. We're starting to see that happen slowly but surely, and just start to grow and grow and grow. It's obviously not a perfect system. About how many would you say you guys are in, and is that primarily in New York, or you in New York City? Is it primarily in the boroughs? What does that look like for you guys?
well, I'm proud to say we're in 85 stores.
Nice.
We're all over the state in every region actually. But of course, the Five Bros, shows a lot of love because this is where we're from. But like upstate, amazing. MJ Dispensary, amazing. Dosha Dispensary, amazing. Albany's been incredible for us. We're just doing decent growth. Month over month. We're not trying to blow it out the waters. I mean, from the understanding of history of branding, saturation is not what you really want.
Hmm.
You want enough stores that support you and you support them and create the story and the brand along the way with these people, and show them, what it really means, what this brand really means. And you know, people will want to buy you as time comes because of the story and the mystery that you have because of what you're already doing with other people, right? The
Yep.
lore of the business is just as valuable as, the business story, as, the quality of the product. And I think it's important to remember that instead of saturating the market with all your products, people get bored of brands pretty quick.
Yeah.
And so I like to see through, continual growth, steady growth of the brand. I mean, we grew from 0 to 80 stores in basically 1 year. So hopefully we can do that and a little bit better this year. And hopefully the goal is to be in at least half the stores, right?
Yeah.
So one day that's the goal. And at the moment there's 315 stores and a lot of us are thinking that there'll be close to 600 by the end of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, New York is growing exponentially because the injunctions come and go, but people are getting more comfortable with these injunctions, I suppose, and ready for, the chance to pounce on opening as soon as the injunctions are lifted. So
Yeah.
this seems to be happening a lot, and most people try to get proximity lock ASAP these days because there's just so many licenses that are not functioning because of proximity.
Yeah, there's the market there is a unique situation. It's both becoming saturated with brands and products with also massive upside and potential growth areas in specific categories. The indoor flower cat, I'd
Yeah,
say there's all the different layers of indoor flower products that can exist from high premium to middle grade premium to mids to midzotics to whatever, right? There's just
yeah,
so many different layers that are missing from the menus currently, and then there's a variety of high end products that are also available in extracts yet. I'd say, when I look at New York and I look at what I would buy as a regular customer who has, I know what rosin is, I know what nice stuff is, I know what the resin is, I eat the gummies, I buy the sleep ones, I get the drinks. There's some strong categories there. Uh, flower definitely leaves something to be remain desired. There's some decent high end stuff for sure in the New York adult use market. There's some stuff that's okay, that I would be okay buying, spending that 50, 60, $70 if that's what I wanted that day. But what I like to buy in the market is definitely the beverages and the gummies, some of the edibles that exist there. I find myself gravitating towards brands like the MFNY for some of the pre rolls. I find myself gravitating towards them and Heirloom for some of these other products as well. Obviously coming from the West Coast, there's certain brands that are from over here that are all over there now that I like to get that. When it comes to my medical products, I like to buy stuff that I've tried and that I know is going to work. I think that's a safe bet when it's for my medicine, right? Like I need the sleep gummies. I need the strain that's going to make me not feel sick, right? Um, I like New York strain offerings. There's a lot of piff. There's a lot of haze. There's a lot of sour diesels. I love all that. I love the chems out there. I think it's a really unique palette based on the culture and how people are, and I think that's a super unique thing for people to appreciate. And so, big shout out to New York. Big shout
Mm.
out to Five Borough. Big shout out to you, Tim.
Thank
Legacy
you. Thank you.
to legal, the whole story, the journey, the sacrifices. This is quite literally one of those stories where it is the sacrifices from your generation and previous generations that helped us get here. You representing your cultures, your various cultures. We're both come from immigrant families. I think that's something that is inspiring in itself. Is that here we are a country in America of immigrants. We can do great things. We have the opportunity to make magic and put
Back.
things together. And you can always reach out and learn and ask questions. Tim is available. I'm available. Cannabis moves, manufacturing moves. There's just so much opportunity out there across the board. So, you guys, it's
100%.
been a wonderful episode. Today's journey is brought to you guys by Trees. Make sure you guys visit trees, TREEZ.io to learn more about how to grow your cannabis dispensary, your delivery services revenue, payment processing, e-com, analytics, point of sale. They are the best ERP in cannabis. They rock with us for the last few years. I am paid to say they are the best, but I've taken the meetings, I've heard the feedback, I know the complaints, and I stand on it. Take it as you see it, whether you like it or not. That's where I'm at. Thank you again, Tim. Where can people follow you more to learn more information? Where can they find out where to buy your weed at?
Oh, well, you can find me at 5borough underscore, or you can just go to Weed Maps and look me up. I'm all over there too. You're gonna find me all over the state. So all you gotta do is type in 5borough Cannabis, and on Google, you'll find me. I'm everywhere now. I'm so blessed. I have so many good friends, including yourself now, Joey.
Let's go! Come on, man. I'm on the Five Borough. We on the wave. I'm excited to try the product when I get out there again. I look forward to meeting you in IRL, Tim. And everybody, make sure you guys show love. Five Borough cannabisnyc.com. That's the number 5, Boro cannabisnyc.com. On Instagram at 5, the number again, at Boro underscore. We showed you guys the packaging. We talked about the strains. We talked about his story. We talked about what he's passionate about. We talked about what they're doing. If you guys have any questions, reach out. And for now, though, we'll see you on the next episode. Big shout out to Trees.